Good morning, honorable members.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Honorable Mam Kwanyana, who's joining us virtually. I wish to formally open the meeting and welcome you all, colleagues. We appreciate your attendance. Greetings, the HOD and your management team. You are most welcome. And we observe a moment of silence for prayer and meditation. Thank you. Babu Mdluli, can you guide us in terms of constituting the meeting to ensure that we are quorate and we may kickstart today's proceedings?
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable members, HOD, esteemed colleagues of the department. I shall hand over to our senior legal advisor, Monica, to confirm the constitution.
Chair, we need 6 members for constitution of the meeting. I only see 5, unless there's another member online. I'm told Honorable Konyana is online, or 2 online, so we are okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe online we have the Honorable Mam Kwanyana and the Honorable Moyo Mbata. If there is another honorable member that we are missing, please do indicate. Babu Mbata, please mute yourself before we hear other things.
Thanks, Chairperson. Mean, but thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, before we proceed, can we check for apologies? I do recognize that we received an apology from the Honorable Sizopila Mpilo Yaqhubeka Mkhize, who has also arranged for an alternate in the name of the Honorable Ndebele. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much for your attendance. That's the one apology. And the apologies that also came from the honorable members who are joining us virtually that they would not be able to attend physically. Madam Sbisi, are there any other apologies that you wish to register, honorable members? Yes, honorable Legis.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. I just need to register an apology. I need to leave at 10 for the Conservation Portfolio Committee, where I'm the primary member. Thank you.
Were there any other apologies that were received? I just noted that of the Honorable Sizopila Mkhize. Yes.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, honorable members, and colleagues. Honorable Mkhize, WS, he came. Then he received a call from school that there is an incident involving his child. So he went there. The child has been taken to the Hilton Hospital. So we are not sure whether he will be back or not. But he did come.
Okay, thank you very much. That is the Honorable Mkhize from the MK Party. That apology is noted. Any other apology, colleagues? None. Okay. Can we then move for the adoption of the agenda, honorable members. Honorable Masigo, followed by the Honorable Legit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I would request that also, just before one moves for the adoption of the agenda, Chair, to really plead and request the honorable members of this portfolio committee to also respect the committee. If they are not going to attend the portfolio committee meetings, they send formal apologies, Honorable Chairperson. And I think it's something that we must all request from our different caucuses. We hear the apology of Honorable Mkhize. I did see him myself down the passage, but there are other honorable members who are not present in this meeting and they have not apologized. And I think, Chairperson, we should just note it for future purposes that we request this committee to be respected, and if members are not coming, they must send formal apologies. That being said, Honorable Chairperson, I move for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masigo. That is noted and very correct. Honorable Legis.
Thank you, Chair. I move to second the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you. The agenda has been adopted, honorable members. The next item is the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. Honorable members, the primary reason that we now have this item, you will recall that in our previous portfolio, we argued and we resolved that we tend to have a lot of issues that we deal with as a portfolio. And then in subsequent meetings, we then engage on new matters. And following meetings, then we engage on new matters. So it's forever new matters. And we don't track back on our previous discussions and resolutions taken. As a result thereof, the portfolio resolved that in all our portfolio meetings, we will then start with going through the minutes to ensure that they're a true reflection of what we discussed. And then after that, we will actually engage on those minutes to see matters arising from the minutes. So I think that was an important step for this particular portfolio as part of our oversight and ensuring that we follow up on resolutions taken. Babnkosi, can you flight the... Oh, it's already there. Okay, let me just also open it up here. Honorable members, the minutes were sent, and we'll go through them very quickly. Those were members who were in attendance. I'll not read them one by one. The agenda constituted of the usual items. The meeting was declared open at 14:10. And I will go straight to the departmental reports. We received a report which was the update on the Rocky Park project. Ms. Anderson from the department provided a comprehensive update to the committee on the legal and operational steps taken regarding the Rocky Park project. This included court-mandated profiling of occupants, the status of the eviction process, and steps involving action plans and building assessments. Further clarification was provided in response to the questions. She explained that an interim court order was granted on 11 June, authorizing the municipality and other stakeholders to access Rocky Park for profiling occupants with protections in place. The order was made final on the 15th of August. The department was awaiting the completion of profiling before finalizing an action plan for eviction, it was noted that evictions could not occur between the festive period. A forensic report on Rocky Park was completed and provided to both the MEC and the municipality. The department was awaiting recommendations from the MEC before taking further action. As we go through the minutes, HOD and your team, please note the issues that were time-bound and that were commitments, because the entire purpose of now going through minutes of previous engagements is so that before we begin on new matters, we satisfy ourselves that the commitments and resolutions taken in the previous meetings, there's been action taken. So as we are going through now these minutes, we are noting certain commitments that were made. And one would obviously expect that as we engage the department, there'll be responses to these issues that were tabled by the department before the portfolio. And then there were presentations on the MTF presented by the CFO. I will not go through the figures. Then there was an update on the Tubaletu housing project, which was presented by the Chief Director for Sustainable Human Settlements, Mr. Makakula. It's a technical report that was presented, which highlights some of the challenges that are being experienced in the project, such as water sourcing, sewer upgrades, electricity capacity, roads, and so forth. Phase 1, the road was complete. Second phase was at the adjudication stage at the time of the meeting. Interim sewer upgrades were underway, pending installation of a generator and a storage tank. The Melmoth waste treatment refurbishment began in September 2025 with a 5-month completion target. Funding had been sourced for various grants, including INEP and HSDG. Expenditure to date and anticipated future funding needs were outlined. The department was providing interim solutions while awaiting for the completion of long-term water supply scheme. And then there was an update on stalled projects throughout the province, wherein Mr. Makakul and the HOD provided a detailed review of blocked and unblocked housing projects. Blocked projects were defined as those with approved contracts, commenced work, and at least 12 months of inactivity with less than 95% completion. Exclusion criteria was also presented, as well as examples of blocked projects were also discussed. The committee members questioned the viability of certain long-stalled projects, the accuracy of projects tracking, and the reduction in reported projects from 46 to 26, the department clarified. And the department also acknowledged past failures in integrated planning and stakeholder engagement. Reports on the rental stock throughout the province was also presented. There was also an update on the title deeds, and there were figures reported on work done up to that point, as well as remedial measures. Then there was also a report on the Flamingo Heights Action Plan. You will recall that there were colleagues from eThekwini Municipality who joined us, who then presented that Flamingo Heights Action Plan. And then there were a list of forensic matters that were presented by Ms. Anderson. Then there were discussions and then resolutions. One of the resolutions was that after noting the report on Flamingo Heights, the committee resolved that the municipality should hold a meeting with beneficiaries to provide feedback on project progress and constraints. I recall that in that resolution, there was a commitment from the department and the municipality, and there was a particular date within that month wherein that meeting will be held with that community to also resuscitate the project steering committee and then provide a report to the committee on the outcome of the engagement. noting the update on stalled projects, the committee resolved that at the next meeting, the Department of Human Settlements should provide a list of projects to be closed, reasons and information on how affected beneficiaries would be accommodated through Umasake, and that the department should provide a progress report on engagements with water authorities regarding the provision of bulk infrastructure for the 12 remaining blocked projects, including timeframes provided by authorities. And then there were committee matters that were dealt with after the department had left. Thank you, colleagues. That brings us to the end of the minutes of the previous meeting. If these are a true reflection of our engagement, can I get colleagues to move for the adoption of these minutes as a true reflection of our engagements in the previous meeting? Honorable Gokul and Honorable Masigo.
Thanks, Chair. Morning. I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Masigo. Seconded, thank you. We have an item there which is the remarks by the MEC before we go to matters arising from the previous minutes. During the apology item of the agenda, unfortunately, there were no apologies that were tendered on behalf of the Honorable MEC. And I'm correct to assume that he has not joined virtually. Yeah? No. On that note, it's fair to say that we will then not have that item of remarks in the absence of the Honorable MEC. Now we are going to the matters arising from the previous minutes, which is the first, the Tubaletu housing project and other stalled projects. I will then give that to the department to take us through.
Greetings, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members of the committee, and colleagues who are part of this meeting. Chair, I will seek your guidance in terms of the agenda. Tubaletu is part of the agenda, so we can, when we are responding to Tubaletu or presenting that item, it will cover issues, because issues were timelines which were not clear at the time. Thank you, Chair.
No, that's fine, HOD. Before we proceed, I've just received a note from the colleagues that in effect they made an error, that the Honorable MEC did send a letter of apology for his absence, and I would like to then register that officially in the meeting, that an apology was received from the office of the MEC tendering his official apology. I just thought I should put that on record, because the assumption was that it's absence without apology. So we note that the letter was received and that apology is accepted. Thank you. Babu Mdluli, can you guide us in terms of the request made by the HOD insofar as discussing the Tubaletu item, the Tubaletu matter as a standing item?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The resolution that the committee took subsequent to the oversight visit to Tubaletu was that Tubaletu will be a standing item in all committee meetings, so that we receive regular reports. That's the resolution of the committee. So on the agenda, it's been reflected there together with other stalled projects.
Yeah, then I think HOD, then this should be that opportunity to then discuss it. Then we'll not discuss it later on. Yeah, so we are going straight to it.
Yes.
as item 8.1. So we're looking at Itubalito housing projects and then other stalled projects. But in the main,
Thank
we're
you.
starting with Itubalito.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Ngolosi will present.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and members. I will give an update on Itubalito project, particularly.
Again, my sincere apologies, Ngolosi, for rudely interjecting. For the benefit of the Honorable Ndebele and other colleagues who may be joining us, the Itubalito project is the project in Melmoth, the housing project on the side of the road that is visible, which has not been completed for a long period of time. Because it's one of those thorny projects which are in the public eye and which have been reported several times to the committee, we took a decision that in all our meetings, because it's one project that we want to close off, so we took a resolution that in all our meetings, it will be a standing item where we should get regular monthly or quarterly progress reports. And that is why it's coming as a standing item. I just thought that for the honorable members, it's worth emphasizing so that it makes sense why out of all the projects, Itubalito becomes a standing item. Thank you. My apologies again.
Thank you, Chair. As a matter of background, we've already reported to this committee on interventions that were done to resuscitate the stall and also to clarify the location of the project on the two sides of that R66 in terms of what is happening and what needs to be done. So for today, we are recapping on the report we did last month, showing the activity on the ground. This was the handover of the house to Ugogo Smelane, which is also exactly on the project site. The house had been completed and it was handed over and celebrated by the community. We will then move to the specific identified issues as per the guidance of the committee last time. We are no longer going to talk about the establishment of the PEC team and all that because it's been reported, I think, at least 3 times to the committee. We are moving straight to the focal points. First one on the next slide, it's issue of the old township, the existing township in Itubalito on the left, where we are facing Ulundi. Here, the issue is that there are leaks in the old township. And we needed to resolve that so that we don't move to the new development with that not being done. We are reporting that the intervention has been done in terms of assessment of leakages, and an application has been done also to fund the infrastructure development on the leaks. On the second one, which is the upgrade on the treatment works, Chair, which is number 2 there, this is already underway. It's now in progress and it's targeting for completion on 31 January 2026. The treatment works is the plant that is collecting all the sewer that comes from the houses so that it gets processed. It's the reason why the other part of the development stopped, because we realized that there is no capacity to absorb and process the sewer. So that work is already in place. On number 3, it's the upgrade on the internal roads. Unfortunately, on this one, we're still where we were at the last report, in that phase 1 of the roads, which I believe members saw, has already been completed. But the procurement at the local municipality for the phase 2, it's still at adjudication stage. When we checked the difference between the report last time and this one, they said they are now approaching that window where people that want to object have to say if they agree with the award or not. Normally, I think it's about 30 days. So it's still at adjudication stage. There's no new service provider installed or introduced as at now. At least we're waiting for that conclusion. On the next slide, it's the transfer of the land. There we have a land that was owned by the local municipality, but needing to be transferred to the district so that the district can then put a borehole on that site. And then that land needed to be rezoned. We are reporting that now the council resolution is in place, which agrees that the land that belonged to the local municipality be transferred to the district. Now it's a matter between the conveyancers to effect the official transfer of the title deed and everything.
so that that work can then proceed. We are now at that stage, particularly on that one. Under engineering designs, these are engineering designs for the new site that is now going to be developed. First part has already been concluded and it's now been achieved. But for the construction of the internal services, particularly, this is planned to commence in January. And right now, the service provider has been appointed and they are busy looking at site establishment, meaning where are they going to locate so that they can then do that work. Lastly, on number 6, it's the request that there must be a steel pipe that is anchored on the bridge that is owned by the Provincial Department of Transport. And the consultant of the district municipality has submitted this request to say we're requesting that we clip the steel pipe on the provincial infrastructure at a particular section. Normally, because that involves the asset issues of another entity, we are anticipating conclusion by March 2026 for that to be concluded. Then on slide 6, we are reporting there was a request that once the new development on the right-hand side facing Ulundi is operational, there is going to be a challenge of people crossing that road and causing a possible serious accidents. The moment the other side on the right is populated. The schools are on the other side of the road, churches and everything. So the anticipation is that there will be a lot of crossing there. And then the request is that DOT needs to devise any safety measure that will then be explored. At one time, we were saying, just look at the intersection itself, or even if there's going to be a pedestrian walk over, over that particular road. A request has been made to the DOT, but they are requested that they determine what the appropriate solution is. If members will recall, if you drive outside Ladysmith, just immediately outside Ladysmith towards Newcastle, there is a pedestrian bridge there that is built in a place called Model Clove. It is hardly used because sometimes the engineering design does not necessarily relate with how people behave, and the provincial department is concerned that you don't want to spend and then realize that people still cross on the ground and not walk over this a specific bridge. We said let them determine what the appropriate solution is. So this request has been forwarded to them. The EIA is now before we had a deadline of mid-October. This has been achieved for submission. We are expecting it at the end of January for an answer because we said we are looking for a shortened version. What this EIA will do, it will then be saying, yes, indeed, you can then lay a pipe that is coming from the borehole to the new section of the township where water is needed. That is basically what the EIA will then be approving. On slide 7, it's the electrification project. As members will know, I think it was as far as July 2024, the contractor was introduced by the local municipality. They are already upgrading the capacity of the electricity in the area, and it's work that is already underway. However, they are doing it in line with the amount that they get from MEC, hence the target of 30 June 2027. That work is already underway. The contractor is on site. Maybe if members want, we can then show what are the deliverables in line with the budget that is allocated. All in all, we are saying section on the left, it's now going well, infills, roads and everything. Section on the right, only when the water borehole is available and only when the wastewater treatment plant is available, we can then say, let the families come into those houses. That is the situation with Tumbalitu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that report. Honorable members, can we engage the report? Honorable Masigo, followed by the Honorable Mike.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and I think we must welcome the update that has been provided to us by the department. Chair, I I think, HOD, we appreciate the fact that you have attached the timelines as we had requested, but we also appreciate the fact that some of the action that needs to be taken has a responsibility borne by other stakeholders other than the department. But ours is to ensure that the department does do follow-ups with those stakeholders, because sometimes with municipalities, if you turn and focus on other business, they will also focus on other business other than what is required to be done. I just have a question, Chair. For instance, I just want to make an example with matter number 7, which deals with a risk mitigation factor of preventing a disaster that is waiting to happen with the high volumes of pedestrians crossing. We have a deadline of the 30th of June. Now, I just need to understand, HOD, that by the 30th of June, what do we anticipate should have happened? Because here we are saying that we anticipate that Department of Transport will respond with a possible solution to the anticipated risk. Now, the question is, what do we anticipate by the 30th of June? Because it says here in terms of the status that Mtonjaneni has applied to the KZN Department of Transport for an intervention. So are we saying by the 30th of June, are we anticipating that DOT should have responded by the 30th of June, or by the 30th of June, DOT should have responded and also built that bridge? So I think it will better help us understand our own oversight as to what is it exactly that we anticipate should have happened. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. The problem with chairing meetings is that even your questions get taken by the honorable members. I wanted to ask something similar. Now I need to say I'm covered, and I don't like saying that. Klonish.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, last time we talked about, we were concentrating on R34, the houses on the right-hand side when you're facing Ulundi. And I really didn't get the progress of those houses. Like I said last time, I pass there almost every day when I come this side, and there's still nothing that is happening there. I see now we're talking about the bridge that must be built, the pedestrian bridge. What about the houses? Those houses, there's nothing, there's no movement there. When are we attending to that? And I heard you talking about the borehole and stuff. Last time we said there's a 65 million that is allocated for the reservoir. How far are we? What's the progress on that? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, in terms of number 7, maybe when we come back next time, we will be deliberate and be clear, but our expectation, the Department of Transport is being engaged. Our expectation is that by June, they should have a clear plan, even in timelines, in terms of budget, when are they intending to implement our request, because there is no rejection in terms of our discussion. Maybe when we report the next time, we'll be clear, but that is anticipation. It is not that by June next year they shall have completed that bridge, but at least we need a plan and a commitment from them in terms of budget processes. So that is the response. Then on this second question, the report is responding to houses on the right-hand side, but it is a process issue. We are saying there is issue of EIA upon a resolution by ATA to say you can proceed. Then we're going to install boreholes. Upon completion of boreholes installation, then you complete houses on your right-hand side. So it's a process issue. We cannot go there and continue with those houses before we complete these other 2 matters we have reported to. So I wanted to give that clarity, but Molosi, you can add as well.
Thanks, Chair. Eshoti, I think on second one, I've covered it. Maybe my answer would have been say it's a deliberate stop from us not to continue building those houses, because if you complete them now, they're still not going to be functional if there is no sewer and no water. And in order to get sewer and water, although money is now available, we now need an EIA that allows for the construction of this pipeline that is going there, hence the stop where we are. Then I think on the first one, HOD, maybe also to clarify that, yes, we are looking for DOT to do that, but members must not only think that it will be a bridge. Part of them, they will be telling us that what is an appropriate solution, and which we are expecting maybe sooner than June, and then come beginning of the new financial year, that solution will then be applied. They may still say, no, it's not a bridge. Something else can still achieve the same risk mitigation.
Yeah, I think the Honorable Masigo HOD is asking this question because if we look, I was literally counting using my hands like a small baby. I'm saying it's November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. And I think the thinking of the portfolio is that there is a sense of urgency that we have when it comes to service delivery matters. And we are then asking ourselves that, would it really take 8 months to engage a stakeholder? Fortunately, the MEC is the same MEC for both the concerned department. I mean, it's human settlements and transport. And so we are saying 8 months for a department to consider a request, it's too long, because 8 months will be ideal for construction. If you are saying that they will be constructing a pedestrian bridge, then I know we understand construction takes time, 8 months, 12 months to construct a pedestrian bridge. But to consider an item, whether it will be done or not, and how much it's going to cost and so forth, we are appealing to the department to reconsider that time frame. We're not going to tell you put December, but just be sensitive to the sentiments of the committee. Yeah, it's just a humble reconsideration that should be done around, because I was also concerned. I was also a bit confused when I saw 30 June in my mind. I'm thinking, there's construction happening there. But if it's to consider whether something will be done or not, and we know that this also hinges on the cooperation of transport in terms of the finances as well, the pedestrian bridge. But we are saying those engagements, if colleagues, you could speed them up, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, Honorable Chair and members, yes, we will consider. Last point on committed funds. More than 60 million was committed by the department, but was not transferred to the municipality, because our intention is to appoint the service provider ourselves for the borehole installation. So that money is safe. When those processes are completed, then we are going to appoint. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks. My last contribution, HOD and Golosi, if you were, I'd request that, because this will also come back to the next portfolio, I would request that you go through the reports that you gave us around the Tubalate in the previous meeting. I'm looking at it and I'm comparing it with the one that we have. There are items that you reported on in the previous reports which do not reflect on the current report. Progress that had been made on certain areas around sewer, around electricity, around water, and so forth. In the 7 or 8 items that you have tabled here, some are missing from that previous report. Yeah, so I don't want to enter into interrogation thereof, but I'm just suggesting that you take the previous report and you compare it with the current one, so that there are no issues that you have left out, and the two should talk to each other. So as you revise your matters on the project's critical part, they should consider the matters that you had previously reported on. Yeah, just please put them all there so that the members are able to see the projects, because there were quite, a number of commitments that reflected on the previous reports as well. Can we move to the report? Oh, there are other stalled projects.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I just want to give this clarity before this presentation is made. You will recall last year, October, November, the department presented 46 stalled projects. When we came early this year, I requested Portfolio Committee to give me time or a chance to review what was presented to this Portfolio Committee last year, so that when we present factual information. Then I wanted to give myself time. I did. Then we came back to this Portfolio Committee. We presented 26 projects, 16 blocked, 10 unblocked. Now, the committee said last year you presented to us 46. Now we are presenting 26. Where is 20? Because there was variance of 20. Then we committed that no, we will come back in this committee and give a report or account on what we presented last time. So our presentation will be twofold. One, we're going to present 46 projects that were presented 2024 and give indication that this one is still part of the 2025 presentation. This one is no longer part of 2025 presentation, and we'll give a reason where we say no, we'll give a reason. So that is the first set. Secondly, we'll then give a committee update in terms of what we term blocked projects now. 16 of them, even timelines when we're intending to unblock them. We have clear timelines. I want to believe, Chair, that we have complied, but we'll see when we engage. Then Mr. Makakula will present. He will start with what I've said, 46, giving account on 46, then on the 16. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, the HOD, the colleagues. Good morning to all of you. The first presentation, as outlined by the HOD, is then reflecting the October 24 presented blocked projects. I'm not too sure. Yeah, it is that one on the screen. And if we go to slide 3, it is indicating the 46 the 46 and the districts where they come from. And then slide 5 is then the breakdown of those blocked, unblocked, and then the close out, and those data needs to be closed out. Then in the sixth slide, we are now dealing with the first category, which we have then said these are the projects that are now as part of that list of the block projects. Out of the 16, we started with Chief Albert Ltuli, Aldenville, Etafeni, Mbozamo, Rocky Park, Groundville Priority 2, HNE, and Kenchane, Groundville Priority 5, Nyundwini Housing Project, Mhlana, and Masaka.
Sorry, Chair. Mr. Makakula, we wanted you to start there to account on those 46. Go through one by one to say this one is part of this one is not part, then you give reasons.
Okay.
So for members to follow.
Thank you, HOD. The first list, which is the one that is on the screen right now, it's the 16, they are all part of the block project list. And it is then that we have prepared this spreadsheet there to indicate whether it is on the list or not, and then the reason for removal in the blocked project list if it is not there. So I will then start with Ilembe, which is then Chief Albert Iltuli Housing Project. It is part of the blocked list, and it is therefore NA under removal, reasons for removal. It is then the part of the list of the block projects. Aldenville, which is also in Ilembe, is the same. Etafeni, Mbozamo, Rocky Park, Priority 2, Groundville Priority 5, Mhlana Masakane in King Gejwayo, Ugu Umzindo, this is one is Umzindo, Amajuba, Charlestown, Kanyagude, we still have Mbazwana, which is part of the block list. And Zululand, we have got Ngochane there. It is part of those projects that are blocked. Umkungundlovu, Sidara, and Kaelisha, they are still part of the block list. Ukukule 2 housing project is also part of the block list. I will go to the next slide. In this slide here, it's the projects that have been removed from the block list due to various reasons, and this one is for projects that have been unblocked. Richmond Farm, it's in eThekwini. We have now removed this project from the block list because we have got now the approval, and the project has now been removed from the block list. Matafmpana, which is also in eThekwini.
Sorry, Mhlonishwa Makakula, for the benefit of the committee, you said that you removed those projects because they've now been unblocked.
Yes.
I would appreciate it if you'd explain to the honorable members when you know why they've been removed.
Yes.
But the honorable members don't.
Yes.
So if you say that this one has been removed because it has been unblocked, I would need you to explain. It has been unblocked because it is now at a construction stage, or it has been closed off, or it is, for whatever reason.
Yes.
Just to provide context. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Richmond Farm, this is the project under eThekwini. The eThekwini municipality has appointed the service provider, and the service provider is anticipated to start on the ground soon, but I don't have the details exactly of each one of these ones, but I do have a report somewhere where I can get it and then deal with the status of each one of them. But the funding for all of them has actually been approved, those that have been unblocked, and they are now in the process either where the service provider is establishing on site and or where the service provider is already on site. Mshaya Zafe is the same one as well. Marian Ridge, the contractor is also on the ground. We have got the approval and the service provider has established on the ground. Dlamini Forestdale, the service provider is also on the ground. Zibomvini, which is in Umzinyati, the service provider is also on the ground, as well as there in Zululand, the Vuna Rural Housing Project. I think there were less than 15 units already remaining to be built. The contractor has actually moved very fast there. Then we have got Kingsborough West and eThekwini. These ones here in this category, they are to be closed. They are to be closed as there are no activities that can be done by the department on the ground anymore. due to invasions and sites no longer developable. And the issue is just administration on removing the beneficiaries and then placing them as OSS category in other projects. But this project itself can no longer proceed as Kingsborough West because there is almost nothing that we as the department can do on this one. As Mbokotweni is the same, Bellington 33 is also the same, Woodland Glens is also the same, it's Nazareth, there is also invasion there and a lot of new planning that will be required, so the department can no longer continue with that project as is. KwaDabega, which is the next slide 8, it also has to be closed. It's no longer part of that list. KwaMathonsi, these are rural housing projects where the beneficiaries, actually some homestead were approved for more than 2 beneficiaries, and then in this case, the second one house cannot be built in the same homestead. Among Olosi, some units were no longer reachable and the members of the community were not willing to relocate. And in those areas there in Mapumulo, they were very, very steep. And then when we requested the beneficiaries, they were not willing to move. Tamambe do, it's also the same. Embo housing project, Umkhondo housing project, Glendale Village, then Hlope housing, rural housing project, then Matola Mnyama. These are areas where the houses can no longer be built. I think we can go to slide 9 as well. It's got the same issues like Tlangweni. The project has to be closed. They are all left. Actually, Chairperson, with less than 10 units, actually they have completed more than 95% of the original scope. Hence, they are no longer part of the block list, and so they have just to be closed. We are working on a process to close these. Sokesimbone in Ilembe, Makoba in Herikwala, which is under Kokstad. Due to issues there, then the project, we can no longer proceed with it. We've got to close it. Under Oku, we have got Kwanzimakwe housing project. Amajuba, we've got Emawozeni. That project is got land is invaded there, so we can no longer proceed building houses because people have built even bigger structures on the same layout that needed to build houses. Under Umzinyati, we've got Sibongile buffer strip. We have got Nondweni, which is the same. Then under Vulindlela, we are remaining with less than 10% of the units there, and there were issues with beneficiaries, so we are removing those beneficiaries from the HSS system, and then whosoever those that remained, we will then be dealt with as OSS cases. We also have the final one, which is Eatondale Phase 8 extension. As in Eatondale, there is a lot of land invasion as well there, where beneficiaries do not want a housing project with new people from other areas. So they have then requested that because we can no longer build there, if we build, then the original people there start invading houses, and therefore the decision was taken that we will no longer be able to proceed constructing this project, and that will then be the end, Chairperson of the...
Maybe, Mr. Makakula, before you go to other list, Honorable Chairperson, I just want to say something on Makoba. Is on what slide is 9, on slide 9, under Herikwala, Makoba. Yes, yeah. I just want to highlight that one, Honorable Chairperson. What happened? The department built houses, almost 400 or more. Then people from Eastern Cape, for whatever reason, because they were beneficiaries in that project, decided to go back to Western Cape, Eastern Cape. Some of them stripped material from those houses. So we felt as a department, yield was more than what was built already on the ground. There was no need then to proceed. But I'm elevating it, Chair, because one day it may become an issue because more than 400 houses were built, but people did what they did, and they are left hanging, and there's nothing we can further do to remedy the situation, Chair. Thank you. Then what then will happen? Mr. Makakula will now present what we presented last time in terms of a block the projects with the clear timelines when we are going to unblock those projects, those 16, because 10 were blocked already.
For the completeness of the presentation, Chairperson, I also wanted to highlight that we have brought the submission or the presentation that was dealt with in 2024, indicating all the 46 projects, which is also attached for members, just to have a look at it, but it is the same list that I have then presented. Chairperson, maybe to also amplify on the issue of Makoba, which the HOD has touched on. That land was the land restitution program. At a particular point in time, Matatiel was in KZN, and then in 2007, I think Matatiel was then, due to demarcations, it was then transferred to Eastern Cape. And at that point in time, the Matatiel people who had claimed the land were actually forcefully removed from that land, and then they had indicated when it was given to them back as a land restitution that they would actually want to come back and leave this site again. But then when the project was then approved, then they agreed they would come and occupy the houses. When the houses were built, they then started either renting them out or stripping them and going back to the Eastern Cape, citing various new challenges at this point in time, which are not human settlements related. Then, Chairperson, there is then the blocked project list, which is the status of the 16 blocked projects. It's got it's what I presented earlier. I will not bore the members. I will go straight to, I dealt with the issues of the criteria and they were correctly minuted. I will now go to the summary of where we are and what we are doing, which is slide 60. It's called, maybe for the flighting, it's called Report on Block Projects, 14 November 2025. Report on blocked stall projects. Let me then proceed if our secretariat is winning, but I can proceed, Chair. Thank you very much. On slide 60, what we have done a summary of what we presented before, and then gave timelines as to what is going to happen by when. The first project being Chief Albert Iltuli, we call this one a plan that we are working on as the department to deal with the block projects and how we are going to be unblocking them. Chief Albert Iltuli in KwaDukuza, we are also making a reference on the heading there that it is dealt with under slide 33 to 35 in the previous presentation. That is when it was dealt with. And we had reported the reasons for blockage on this project as poor workmanship, poor performance, and then the abandoning of the site by the contractor. The intervention that is required, we have then said we now need to include this project in the new business plan for the next financial year. And then we are also saying we need to also finalize the SCM processes. And we are saying by 2026, March 2026, we will have these two interventions finalized.
But Makako,
Thank you.
again, my apologies for the rude interruption. I think Babunkos is struggling there to, if you can assist him so that he can fly the presentation for the benefits of the members online. Go to which presentation? Oh, you got it? Yeah. Yeah, my apologies, honorable members. I just wanted you to be able to see the presentation and follow, especially because we've got members who are joining online and they may not, understand which report we are dealing with.
Maybe, Honorable Chairperson, while Mr. Makakule is assisting, we said last time, information that was presented, background, how much has been spent, will remain the same. So for the purpose of presentation today, while we will have that information, we're not going to present it. But what we are going to present is a plan now on block the project or recovery plan. But we're also giving reference to say if you go to the main document, you will find that project in this slide. So that is the intention. But we are clear out of those 16 projects, will give you timelines in terms of when to intend to unblock them. I must say, because part of them, we committed last time that we are going to engage water authorities. We have engaged only one for now, Ilembe, because 50% of blocked projects are under Watuguza. Ilembe and Watuguza municipality have been engaged on the issue. Yeah, Mr. Makakula, then proceed. That is the recovery plan.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will start again on Chief Albert Lthuli because it was not online at the time. Chief Albert Lthuli, it's a project under Watuguza. I have made reference from slide 33 to say this project is in the slide 33, which was dealt with before, and the reasons for the blockage on the project were poor workmanship, poor performance by the service provider, and then the service provider abandoned the project. And what we said, the interventions that are now required currently is that we allocate this project in the business plan, which is then coming for next financial year, which will be finalized in January, February, and that business plan will then be approved by the members as well as it will be presented here. Then we will also have to finalize the SCM processes by December, and then we are saying all these two activities will then be concluded by March for the project to be on the ground again in April next year, next financial year. And what we are giving as the last column is the status of the project, where it is that the MEC has already approved the unblocking of this project, and that SCM processes are now underway to appoint the service provider. Same as Tafeni Chairperson, it is the same similar issues as Chief Albert Iltuli. It is also gonna be ready for construction next financial year from April. In 2026 March, we hope to we will then have resolved the allocation in the business plan and then the finalization of the SCM processes as well. The MEC has also approved the unblocking of the project.
Sorry, Honorable Makakul, there's a point of order. Honorable Masigo.
Thank you, Chairperson. It's not a point of order per se, and I apologize for interrupting. Chair, I'm looking at time. Portfolio Committee has been allocated only 2 hours, and one has a Portfolio Committee meeting immediately after this. Chair, we received the presentations and we've read them. Can we request that we not be detailed? I do appreciate the fact that we've requested for the information, but because we have read, can we just provide a summary, Chairperson? Because I see that there's still a number of items in the agenda that we wish to engage on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that is granted. Makakul.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe in view of the proposal, Chair, we have attached 16 projects. They are all on the presentation. They all have the time frames as to when we are expecting to have them finalized. We even have that of Umzindo, which is being dealt with by Umdoni municipality, and we are monitoring their construction of the bulk infrastructure. We anticipate that by March 2027 it would have been resolved, and most of them we have then allowed for the time frames where we are not in control for matters to be finalized. Thank you, Chairperson. That is my submission.
Thank you very much. Again, as the chair, I'll be the last one to ask if my questions are not taken. Honorable members, the presentation has been made on the status of stalled, blocked, and unblocked projects as per our request. And the department was very comprehensive in presenting their reports. So I would want to invite questions and comments. My apologies, Honorable Moyo, but I did not see your hand earlier on. It was not. I was not ignoring you deliberately. Can I start with you, Honorable Moyo, and then I'll come to the Honorable Masigo and other colleagues.
So, Chairperson, I'm also raising my hand too.
Oh, thanks, Honorable Mamkwanyana. Because the Honorable Moyo is on hold here, you may start, Mamkwanyana. I'll start with your colleagues on the platform. My apologies, Mamkwanyana. From where I'm sitting, I cannot see the hand if it's raised. I'll ask my colleagues next to me to assist me.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to you, to the members in the chamber, and as well as the support staff. Chairperson, I'm just a bit worried about the blocked projects under Ilembe. That there are so many projects that's been blocked under Ilembe, but I don't see when are they going to be unblocked again. Only Chief Albert Lutuli that has been removed from the blocked list due to poor performance. What about the other blocked projects? Because there are so many projects there. I just want to get a clear picture about other projects too that are not that are still blocked. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Moyambata, are you back? Still on hold. Honorable Masigo, colleagues, I'll just take 2 or 3 questions, then give you to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. And one must appreciate the report that has been given and the manner in which they've sort of broken it down for better understanding and interpretation on our part. we must appreciate HOD that there has been timelines that have been given as well as clear action. I think Chairperson will assist us in also monitoring the progress in relation to the proposed action that will be taken. I do wish to check with regard to the projects that will be closed or have been closed out due to the fact that there's no other activities. And HOD, I think I did check that in the last meeting, because in all honesty, Chairperson, there are projects that you can really do nothing about because they've dragged on for so long. I mean, it's just something that they cannot be assisted in terms of unblocking them. That is a reality that we need to deal with. But the question that I have, HOD, or maybe it's a concern on that, is the human impact of that, as well as a procedural fairness. I know that you have noted the fact that beneficiaries, you'll put them on OSS. But for instance, there are projects that have gone dragged on since 2008, 2006, and there are beneficiaries that have been waiting for over now 20 years, close to 20 years. How are we going to assist these beneficiaries if we are putting them on OSS? Are we going to reassess them? Are we going to make them to reapply? Maybe also move them or relocate them to other alternative projects that the department has. Is it a process that will be done by the municipality now, or is it a process that will be done by the department? And I think it's something, HOD, that we need to look into the human aspect of it, and also considering the fact that they've been waiting for a long time, and the exact procedure that we wish to undertake on that. Now, the second question that I have is with these unblocked projects, and also considering the fact that there's escalating costs on also keeping some of the contractors on site. Are we having any penalty clauses that we're having? Because we do understand that if there are prolonged delays on blocked projects, one would like to know, HOD, what are the mechanisms that you are having in order to curb these escalating costs of keeping the contractors? Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Masigo. I think for me, it's just a comment that we are getting there with these reports. Initially, your reports, you would swear that there was a court judgment to seal some of the information, but the transparency on the reports is appreciated because it then enables us to play our oversight effectively. And I think that's what we want, for the reports to show the details that we need, and the information has been presented. You may respond to the questions by the honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. A response to Honorable Nkwanyana. Slide 60 and 61 give clear timelines and who is responsible in terms of all those projects. So she will get that information, Chair. So that will be our response. On Honorable Masigo, where we are going to close a project, approved beneficiaries are registered or are transferred to a holding, a K number. They are not going to apply again. We are going to implement Operation Sukumasaka so that we build houses for them. So it's clear. And we are going to prioritize them because through Operation Sukumasaka, you prioritize. Lastly, Chair, in terms of escalation, on these projects where we're unblocking next year, we do not have service providers now, but we are in a process of appointing service providers so that we unblock them come April 2026. So we're going to use a quantum that will be applicable at that time. Thank you, Chair. And then, Chair, last point on water authorities, which we have not yet engaged. timelines may change a bit because we thought and gave them, but Ilembe was engaged. But 50% of them was engaged because they are found in Watuguza. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. HOD, it's a follow-up that I'm not really expecting a response. It seems with this thing, a beneficiaries list, Chairperson, we're chasing a moving target because we have a huge list of awaiting, and now we've got this backlog of beneficiaries. I'm just thinking, HOD, do we have an idea of the number of affected beneficiaries under this category? That for me, if we are placing them on the OSS list, it means that they are being prioritized. So I know that we are not going to quantify it now, but I do hope in future, Chairperson, that we start having a beneficiaries list, that these are the beneficiaries that have been waiting for over 20 years. We are prioritizing them according to OSS. We've made a dent. Mhlambe, in the first quarter, we've allocated out of 1,200 have now been allocated, house they've received, they've moved, so that we know because as we are closing it down, then we are having affected beneficiaries. How many? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. No, you are quite correct. We are intending to have a clear answer by end of March 2026 in terms of the number. So beyond March 2026, we may be in a position to give a clear response. Part of outstanding or matters arising, Chair, it was Flamingo Heights. We said we're going to engage community before the end of November. We still commit that we'll do so. Next year, when we come back, we'll give that report in terms of Flamingo Heights. In terms of Rocky Park, as reported there, it is a matter that Honorable MEC will deal with or is dealing with. Chair, thank you very much. I think we have dealt with those issues under item 8.1. Then CFO will then give update on payment to service providers. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, to honourable members, HOD and colleagues, all other officials. Chairperson, I've just got a short report in terms of payments within 30 days. I think in the first quarter, we had some challenges, and I think that is why the item is placed back on the agenda. We had a challenge in April and May with our payments because of systems issues and budget issues where the funding hadn't come in on time. But just to say, in the second quarter, if you look at the table that was provided in terms of in July, we had 627 invoices that were disbursed. 606 were within 30 days, so 21 were out of time. And the percentage was 96.65% achieved within 30 days. In August, there were 737. 735 were paid within 30 days, 2 out of time. And it was 99.73%. In September, we had 421 invoices, 404 were presented on time, paid on time, 17 out of time, so it was a 95.96%. Overall, for the second quarter, our payment was 97.45% paid within 30 days. Just some reasons for the late payments. We had a challenge with our budget cuts, and some of the service providers had invoices for work when the projects had no funding, further funding for the year. So we needed to then move funds out of projects that was like not spending enough and pay those, but we needed to first get approval and change our business plan so that we were able to pay them. So that was done. And in this third quarter, we noticed in our budget meeting on Monday that we have very few of those kind of matters at the moment because we've moved the funds during the adjustments period. In some instances, we have the data system errors. A data system is a system that's run at the national level. and that system needs to interface with the BAS system. And in most months, there is a delay in that. The system is rather old, but because the housing fund is being disestablished, there's no, they're not going to be upgrading that system. So we do face that challenge on a monthly basis. There's a few invoices that are not able to be interfaced with BAS timelessly for the payments to be made. Chairperson, we've also noted that there's some cases where invoices come with documents that are not accurate or not complete. What we've decided on those ones is that we're going to be actually having a second date on the pack of documents to say this is the second date of receipt, because we actually cannot process those within the 30 days because documents are missing. So when they get received in the districts, there's a date on it, and that's the date we start counting the 30 days. But if there's some things that need to go back and forth, we need to then say what is the last date on which all the documents were fixed and all received, and we'll start counting from that date. We've agreed with that with the AG as well, because it's not within our control if people don't give us enough information at the beginning of the submission of the invoices. So that's something that we need to rectify going forward, to make sure that the date that we count the start date from is when all documents are properly received from the service provider. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe, Chair, before you come in, Treasury has come up with a new formula now. They are saying currently 30 days is counted from the date we receive an invoice until the payment run. Now they are saying 30 days will be counted from the date you are receiving the invoice and when the money is in the account of the service provider. Meaning they are giving us, so we may face challenges with that new formula, but we'll try our level best to do our things efficiently so that we are not affected. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I didn't want to raise that now because you're going to see that in the third quarter, probably be an escalation. But what and Treasury have also now restricted the number of payment runs to 3 in a month as compared to 1 every week because of certain other departments, health and education, having certain challenges. So we've also requested that they open up further runs so that we don't have the issue of delays from the time we disperse the payment on the BAS system to the date it then reflects on the account, because it takes 4 days from the time it's dispersed on BAS to then be reflected in the bank account. But if there's a delay in the payment run at Provincial Treasury, then that will also delay the 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This time I will start. No, we appreciate the report, CFO. CFO, what would be your comment if someone were to say that departments, not just human settlements, delay deliberately identifying issues that are wrong in invoices and communicating that late to service providers to buy time to delay the payments? And I'm saying that because one would be interested in the turnaround time that you give to the service provider. So if I give you an invoice today and my invoice has issues, how long does it sit with you before you communicate the issue back to the service provider so that you don't come back to him after 20 days to say that we have not paid your invoice because there are issues? I know for a fact that if I was a service provider and I submit an invoice and there's an issue, I'll fix it same day because I want my money to reflect in my account as soon as possible. So to try and not have a situation where this one points a finger at this one, I'm interested in how long you guys take to identify an issue with an invoice and then communicate it back to the service provider?
Chair, we have a standard operating procedure which allows each of the different units to have X number of days, and then we work backwards to make sure that it's within the 30 days. So when it enters the regional departments, they have, they have, I think it's 7 days, 5 days. 5 days to process that and make sure that all the documents are there. So they will within those 5 days report back to the service provider that there's something missing. So, and then the next unit it goes to is our subsidy system where we capture, and they have a certain number of days. And then finance, we have a certain number of days to capture that on the BAS system. And we allow a few days lead time for the payment runs. So we're actually going to relook at that now because of the 30 days. We're going to have to then crunch the time on all the different business units that interact with those invoices because of the issue of now waiting for 4 days for the monies to be in the bank account. I think your question was, I think there's, that could happen. People could delay that if they don't have budget or etc. But I think in our department, we have a system in place and we have an invoice tracking program as well, which we created internally. So we're able to follow and make sure that we don't unnecessarily delay payments. The only time we won't pick that up is if somebody receives it and doesn't put it on the system. So that is an inherent risk in the system. Thanks.
On reporting. So if you could take just 5 minutes to quickly go through the reports. We've got the reports, then we will engage. Thank you.
Thank you. Molos will take non-financial immediately. CFO will come in with financial. Thank you.
Thank you very much, HOD. Colleagues, and in the interest of time, just on slide 2, so that members are familiarized again, wherever you see that blue color, we are saying we've exceeded what was expected. What is green, we have achieved. What is yellow, we have not achieved, but we are above 50%. Then what is red, we are below 50%. On the next slide, we are reporting that in the targets that we had for this quarter, we've achieved 8, and we did not achieve 10. And then in the 10 that we did not achieve, most of them we are above 50%, largely in program 2 and 3. The other slide I wanted to highlight, it's slide 5, which is next. In program 1, it's to do with the payment of invoices that the CFO has raised. The achievement is 97%, but because it's 97%, then it's treated as below 100, therefore not achieved. Just wanted to highlight that. Then again on slide 7, if you can go to slide 7, because I'm just going through some of the highlights. Consumer education seems to be going well. Development approved at stage 1 seems to be going well on forward planning. And then it's informal settlement upgrading, which is still a challenge. You see that on slide 8, where then the target, mainly for consumer education, the next slide, it's been blue in the 2 quarters, because also what we've done, members, is to report on the 2 quarters so that we can see consistency. And then on the one for projects approved, we were red in the first quarter, we are yellow now, but on the one on informal settlement upgrading, we still remain red. Last one I wanted to highlight is slide 9. Chair, here, I'm not sure whether it's my perception, but I want to raise it to members. We have achieved all critical targets in program 3, thanks to Mr. Makakula and team. This is the core function. Number of houses that we're supposed to build, that has been achieved. Number of military veterans houses that were supposed to be built, it's blue, meaning it's overachieved. Number of service sites, it's overachieved. However, there are targets that we did not achieve, which are 5, in my view, which are ancillary, but though important. For example, targets about reporting on jobs created, on EPWP, on person work days, and then on first home finance.
But what we regard as cardinal targets for Program 3, we are registering a performance of 111% to 167% on the critical ones. As I said, houses, sites, military veterans, and as well as the accredited training. So all in all, in Q2, we are reporting a performance as stated of 44%, counting the total number of targets. But we are very impressed on the Program 3, which is our service delivery program on the work done in this quarter. Thank you very much, HOD.
Thank you, Chairperson. The presentation on the financial performance is quite extensive, so I'm just going to cover the key points and because of time. In terms of slide 3, we're showing an overall performance of 88% spending for the year to date. So it's the budget is for the year to date, which is 88%. And then for the year, for basically for the first 2 quarters, 88%, but for the year to date, it's 52%. And if we look at a straight line basis, we meant to be at 50% so that we make sure that we can spend the full amount by the year end. I think, Chairperson, the issues that we're having were around the EPWP target, where we only spent 16%. We had a challenge with appointing the service providers. We've now resolved that because there was an appeal. We've resolved that and we've gone on a quotation process and appointed service providers for the different districts. So the work has commenced and we are monitoring that carefully. The unit has got a recovery plan in place as well. Chairperson, on the rest of the slides, there's explanations on all of the projects where there was underspending and possible overspending. I'm not going to go through them because they're also year to date. So some of these have been mentioned in the first quarter performance review as well. In fact, most of them are. I've spoken about EPWP. In terms of Program 1 spending, on page 9, we're just showing a slight under expenditure because we had some invoices from the Auditor General, State Attorney and CETA that were not received on time, as well as for our Nexus travel agents, but they have been received and paid in this quarter. In the balance of the presentation, there's a lot of repetition because they're broken down into the different classifications of expenditure. So I won't go through all of those. Just to say on the issue on compensation of employees, we basically had to fund the wage increases with our own budget. And then in terms of goods and services, we made provision for software licenses and travel invoices, etc. That were the invoices were received late. Moving on to Program 3 on page 12, and Chairperson, here we spoke to the issue of costs of our employees who vacated their posts, as well as we put a moratorium on some posts because we are trying to restructure at the moment. So there was underspending of 2 million rand under Program 3 administration costs for compensation of employees. I'm not going to go to slide 13 because it's a repetition. And then your incremental interventions on page 14 is also a repetition, and 15. In terms, I think that we've covered all of these. They've been explained under the expenditure in the first parts of the presentation. Under rural interventions, we have an underspending of 169 million, and that was mainly due to the fact that we had to move some funding from our disaster funding to a different category of spending. So we will do that journal. And there was a project in eThekwini where we are still awaiting beneficiary lists. Under Program 4, we had net overspending of 630,000 for administration, and that's mainly due to staff exit costs and whose staff left due to retirement. That's on slide 19. And then on the sale and transfer of properties on the EEDBS, we overspent by 1 million rand. This was due to municipal services, which is based on usage, and we will adjust that in the adjustments estimates. Under housing maintenance in program 4, there was a 25 million rand underspent, and that was because of delays in the receipt of invoices for rectification of 2 of our projects, as well as delays in assessments at the Madadeni rectification. Chairperson, under economic classification, the explanations are repeated, so I won't go through that. And then just to go to slide 24, we have funding that we received from an agency, which is the National Skills Fund, and we've received 17 million rand, and then a further amount of 16 million rand. We spent 24 million rand up to this year to date, and we are ensuring that we fast track those invoices so that we fully spend that funding by the end of the financial year. Chair, overall, the equitable share was 94% spent on the last slide, and HSDG program 3, which is 87% spent, and Tulani spoke to the achievement on the non-financial side of that grant, and then ISUP was 93% spent, and the EPWP was 16% spent, and I did explain the reason for that. Chair, we are continuously fast-tracking our spending and then also making sure that we remain within the cost-cutting circular that Provincial Treasury has issued to all departments. We have busy revising the business plans now for the adjustments estimates period so that our non-spending projects will be moved out and funding will be moved to projects that are overspending. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, CFO, also for those presentations. Honorable members, these are the 2 reports. We've received the non-financial from Ungolos and the financial from the CFO. Honorable members, we are on discussions for comments and questions on the financial and non-financial report, if there are any. Honorable Masigo, this time you may start first.
To substantiate more. The concern HOD was around the fact that most of the targets which were underachieved were under the core program of, or maybe what we consider that should be the core program as it relates or responds to service delivery issues, which is program 3. But say Shilo, I cover as much as there is underperformance, as much as there is underperformance, but in terms of the delivery of houses, it has been overachieved. Also, the MKVP has been also overachieved. But it's just to say, Chairperson, that we do hope that program 3 HOD will do better than program 2. Because over 50% underachievement or maybe 55% underachievement is a cause for concern. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. There's no other hand. I just want to ask one question, HOD. I know that you guys are not filling in vacant posts. What's your take when you analyze the impact of that? I know it's an outcome perhaps of saving money, you've got budget cuts and so forth. But what has been the consequences of not filling vacant positions in the department? How has the system responded?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yeah, we are being affected, Chairperson. For example, this financial year, we are going to fill one position, Chief Director, Corporate Services. We were assisted by contract positions because while we are not employing on permanent basis, but we do employ on contract basis using OPSCAP. challenges that we are facing now, the process, when you want to extend any position, you must apply from my office up to the Premier's office in terms of approval. So the process is too long. And in some instances, the response will be that, no, don't fill this position, do a job evaluation before you fill. But we are filling now. Straight to the answer, we are feeling the impact now. That there are challenges, especially at the district level. But hopefully we'll find a way to turn around. But we do, Chair. It is affecting us. And the other challenge now, in terms of OPSCAP, we can use 5% of our grants to do all these other things. But the next year, they are saying it will be reduced to 3% now, will be further affected, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, so has there been an underspending on the EPWP, right? Could that be linked to the posts?
Yes, definitely. We lost our contract staff from the EPWP unit. So we need staff to actually be on the field and to count the number of employees or people that they use to get jobs, etc. So there's a lot of manual work that needs to be done. And unfortunately, we lost those two contract people. So they're busy trying to see how they can assist, we can get replacements. But we've had a huge challenge, especially like for example, SEM, the staff have had to let go because of contract positions, and now the Premier's office asking for the job, to be evaluations to be redone. So it has impacted on us. We are just trying to manage and move people around within the units, but it's not ideal. We have also tried to HOD has approved some overtime because we've had some savings because the people are not there. So it's like technically a saving because we're not paying those bills. So we want to use those funds to just try and ask people to assist us working on an overtime basis. It's not ideal though.
And finally, then my question would be, with those challenges, how is that affecting the people on the ground? Our people that benefit from EPWP. EPWP beneficiaries, if I were to put it that way.
Chair, if I may come in, there are practical challenges on the ground. We have people that are sitting at home. If you look at the report on the houses we built, which is an overachievement, but the capacity to collect that performance data on the ground is not there because the people that are data collectors, their contracts have been terminated and we are not able to get them back. And now it also affects us to be able to absorb new recruits on the ground. So it's a failure that is caused by a data collection methodology that is crippled by the lack of capacity whilst there's performance on the ground. So there are students that have enrolled, but they can't start to be trained because there's no one to monitor them. That's the challenge we seem to have.
But Honorable Chairperson, yes, as we have reported, it is a challenge, but we are doing our level best to come up with a recovery plan in that regard. We're even trying to engage HDA to assist us in terms of, on our behalf, contracting some employees, because we do have money. Only these processes within the system that is affecting us. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, colleagues, with my many questions. It's my last one, and then we're done. On a separate matter, on the military veterans' houses, I recall at some point, was it last year? I think we were told that there was about 100 million monies ring-fenced for military veterans' houses. I just wanted confirmation, as it stands, which monies are they being paid from? Are they being paid from your HSDG, or are they being paid from those monies that were reserved for those houses?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Mr. Makakula will respond, but I must say, Chair, for the first time now, we have turned the corner we are achieving targets on military veterans, and at the national level, we have committed to complete or to build houses for all of them, those who have been given to us with a period of 3 years. But Mr. Makakula will give a response.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and HOD. The budget which was transferred to Itala, that money was transferred to Itala years ago. It was 100 million. We have commitments and contractual commitments and potential commitments, including the interest. Actually, out of that 100 million, 62 million rands is a balance today. That is inclusive of the interest. With the interest we received or accrued out of that money, we have built more than 20 houses as well in Umshwati, under Umshwati housing project for military veterans. Because what we did, we took that money and we said whatever interest that is coming here will then be for the benefit of the military veterans. So we are then unblocking areas and site evaluations in all other areas and so on. So that 62 million is now holistically committed, and there are about 3 or 4 projects that are on the ground eating up on that money. In the next financial year, we anticipate that about plus minus 15 million of new commitments will come from the HSDG. But as we speak now, we are taking money from that commitment that is in Itala. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Honorable Ndebele, your navigator simply indicated that you were somewhere, you were en route somewhere. Not sure if you're raising your hand regarding that.
Sorry, Chair, I'm preparing to go somewhere after this. Now, greetings to you, Chair, and to honorable members and the department under the leadership of HOD. I just want to check one thing. When they said they are working with Itala on commitment, and they have about 62 million. Which branch is Itala? Is it Itala SOC or Itala Development Finance? So that we will know whether the thing is there or it's not there. Thanks.
No, Chair, it's the honest fact. So it's not, the truth is that it is not under the bank, it is under the development one, which is not under liquidation as we speak. Thank you.
If it's
And
not
they are
under
also
SOC, it's
banking,
fine.
and they are also banking with ABSA, which is another good thing. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our meeting. Thank you, HOD, for eventually honoring our meeting, and your team as well. You came prepared, and the reports are very comprehensive, and they enable us to get a clear picture of what's going on in the department. And for a long time, we were fighting with you for reports in terms of the clarity. We were getting the reports, but the reports were not clear on what's happening. They were lacking timelines, they were lacking budgets, they were lacking justification, and all of those things. And when those details are there, they enable us as well as our team of researchers and support to provide, proper assistance to us, and then for us to be able to play our oversight as we should. And so that is much appreciated. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do, because remember, our role is not only to ask questions, but it's to provide support as well. But you will let us know. I'm worried, honorable members, on the side of their inability to fill vacant posts, because the consequences of that is going to be a drop in performance. And when they drop in performance, then we will ask them why are they underperforming. So I'm not sure, HOD on your side, it's something worth considering if there's any form of support as well that can come from our side in terms of engaging with our other principals in the hierarchy of government in the legislature. But it's worrisome when there are critical posts that cannot be filled and then affect performance. And then essentially what I'm saying is that in as much as we may ask, tough questions on performance, but we're also available in terms of providing support as well. Yeah, maybe a word from you, HOD, and then we close.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. We always appreciate your support. At this point in time, I will say no. We're still dealing with matters. Will indicate when support is needed, but the support that I will need or will need from Honorable Chairperson will be the support to engage Minister of Public Service and Administration when we have submitted our proposed organogram. Because, Honorable Chairperson, the problem that we have, we're operating with the organogram of 2008, 17 years later. Fortunately, we have moved with speed. Yesterday, we received assurance letter from Provincial Treasury supporting our proposed organogram. Today, it will be presented, it will be submitted to Office of the Premier. Then when it is submitted to Minister Public Administration, then I will talk to the chairperson so that we can facilitate. Because one of the issues, even if we have money on contract basis, when we wanted to fill some positions, they are saying no, subject these positions to job evaluation. And you can't, because some of them are not part of the organogram. So fixing this problem of organogram will unlock some of the issues, and we are there because we are ready now. If then we can engage our Honorable Minister to approve before the 15th of December, we will be in a position from January to solve some of our problems. Thank you.
No, thank you. We'll await for that, and we'll definitely be more than welcome to assist where we can. Honorable Masigo, you are the last one, and then we close.
Thank you, Chairperson. And I'm sorry to interrupt. Just before you close, Chairperson, I just wanted, not because they had invited me, but I just wanted to congratulate Chairperson, the department, for hosting a successful webinar. Not that they invited me, but I think, Chairperson, it does, HOD, go a long way in strengthening, collaboration between the different stakeholders in responding to critical issues that are facing the department and our province in relation to settling our communities. And I think, it was very insightful, HOD. It assisted everybody, myself included, as a member of the portfolio committee, to apply different lenses to the problems that we face. So congratulations on that. And just to request that, continue with such. It goes a long way, and do invite other honorable members, but also it would also assist us, because the last one, Chairperson, that you participated in, I was not aware of it. I could have also logged in. So we encourage honorable members to log in and participate. The attendance was quite good. Even the various stakeholders, they were coming from the different, areas that was addressing the issue of informal informal settlements. Thank you, Chairperson.
Oh, there's no response. No. No, thank you very much. I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you very much. Mtian, is your hand up there? Oh, no, I thought your hand was up. Thanks. Honorable members, I appreciate your attendance. Honorable members who have joined virtually. Mama Nkonyana, Honorable Mbata, thank you so much for your attendance, colleagues. To the department HOD, Ngolos CFO Makakula, I appreciate your attendance, colleagues.
Kodwa ngiphathe kahle Chair, ngincoma ukuthi ngiphathe kahle.
Yeah, I know you behaved well. It's very strange, but thank you.
Besingakubuzanga kodwa.
Wena navigate kanongome
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Honorable members, there's a reminder. There's an NCOP week, and I think honorable members have been told about that. It's from the 17th to the 21st of November. It's next week. So honorable members are reminded if they need accommodation to please communicate about that. It's from the 17th to the 21st of November in Mkungundlovu. And those members who will need accommodation, please today communicate about that. Thank you very much. Honorable Mdebele and Moyo Mbata, you can continue. Thank you.
Ngikhulume ngithini kodwa Chair? Uyal entertainer yini uhlanya?
Njengoba nje usulwa kangaka. Oshuthi nje vele wacela eceleni.
Uvele wafonela uWanda wakhona.
Ayiphotheni ngempela. Hayibo. Yo. Okwi-team yelokhuzana. Kwi-political education team. Inini? Oh. Try that one.
So I thought I asked another parent to come inside.
Oh.
So come with them with some thinking.
you.